She says it's just a girls' night. Just her and her friends. Nothing serious. Nothing for you to worry about. She gives you that smile. The one that says, relax, babe. Don't overthink it. And so you don't. You trust her. You convince yourself that it's innocent. That her makeup, the tight dress, the perfume she saved for tonight. It's all just for friends. But deep down, something doesn't feel right. Because when a woman is truly in love, truly fulfilled, she doesn't chase the validation of strangers. She doesn't need the high of being noticed by other men. To feel alive, you tell yourself she just wants to unwind, let off steam. But let's be real. Girls' nights aren't what they used to be. You think it's laughter and selfies. But what you don't see are the quiet moments at the bar. The lingering eye contact with a man she doesn't know. The way she smiles when someone compliments her. Knowing full well she's wearing your love, but inviting his attention anyway. And the worst part? It's not always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's about remembering she still has options. Still has power. And while you're home thinking she's just with the girls, she's out reminding herself what it feels like to be chased again. She says it's just a girls' night. Just her and her friends. Nothing serious. Nothing for you to worry about. She gives you that smile. The one that says, relax, babe. Don't overthink it. And so you don't. You trust her. You convince yourself that it's innocent. That her makeup, the tight dress, the perfume she saved for tonight. It's all just for friends. But deep down, something doesn't feel right. Because when a woman is truly in love, truly fulfilled, she doesn't chase the validation of strangers. She doesn't need the high of being noticed by other men. To feel alive, you tell yourself she just wants to unwind, let off steam. But let's be real. Girls' nights aren't what they used to be. You think it's laughter and selfies. But what you don't see are the quiet moments at the bar. The lingering eye contact with a man she doesn't know. The way she smiles when someone compliments her. Knowing full well she's wearing your love, but inviting his attention anyway. And the worst part? It's not always physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's about remembering she still has options. Still has power. And while you're home thinking she's just with the girls, she's out reminding herself what it feels like to be chased again. You ever notice how she gets dressed differently for them? Not for you. Not for dinner with you. Not for the man who's always had her back. But for that one night with the girls? She's glowing. Hair done. Lips red. That dress you haven't seen in months suddenly comes out. The one that hugs her curves like a secret weapon. She says it's just to feel good. That it's for herself. But deep down you feel it, don't you? She's not dressing for the girls. She's dressing for the opportunity. The looks. The attention. The whispers when she walks by. And when she says, don't wait up. That's when your gut tightens. Because girls' night has become code. Not for cheating maybe, but for freedom. Freedom to act single. Freedom to flirt without consequence. Freedom to escape the label of girlfriend. Just long enough to feel desired without responsibility. And the worst part? Her friends enable it. They hype her up. They tell her, you're still hot. You still got it. They remind her of everything she could have if she wasn't tied down. So while you're home trusting her, she's out enjoying the thrill of being wanted again. Just without the guilt of admitting it. Because technically, she didn't do anything wrong, right? Not yet. It starts subtle. She comes home later than she said. A little too tipsy. A little too distant. Smiling at her phone. Not from your texts, but from something she's not ready to explain. You ask her how the night went. She gives you a quick summary. Fun. Just drinks. Nothing crazy. But something about the way she says it feels rehearsed. Like she's already prepared the answers. Just in case you press too hard. And if you do question her, she flips it on you, calls you insecure, tells you to stop being jealous, as if your gut reaction is the problem, not her behavior. She hides behind the word freedom, says she needs space, says she should be allowed to have fun. And she's right. But freedom without accountability, that's a different game. Because real fun doesn't need to be secretive. Real fun doesn't come with defensive answers and locked phones. You start noticing a pattern. Every time things get rocky between you, she's out. Drinks in hand, new pictures, new angles, posting just enough to get reactions, but not enough to show what's really going on. And maybe she doesn't physically cheat. Maybe she tells herself she's loyal, but she's getting emotionally fed by a room full of strangers, more than she is by the man waiting at home. And that right there, that's the beginning of the emotional exit. You start to notice the glow when she walks in after a night out. It's not from the drinks. It's not from dancing. It's from attention. She comes home lighter. Not because she had fun with the girls, but because she got her fix. A fix of validation. of eyes following her, of compliments whispered in her ear that made her feel alive in a way you haven't lately. And she won't tell you that. She'll act like everything's normal. She'll kiss you goodnight, lay next to you in silence, and pretend she didn't feel electricity with a stranger whose name she didn't even ask for. You ask her why she doesn't invite you sometimes. She laughs, says, "It's just a girl's thing." But the truth is, you weren't invited because you'd kill the vibe of being seen as single, even just for a night. And her friends? They're not stopping her. They're encouraging it, because half of them are single, and the other half secretly envy her freedom. They'll cover for her if anything ever happens. That's the code. That's the unspoken agreement. You were never meant to understand. And so you sit there, watching her glam up for another night out, knowing she's yours in title, but her energy? It belongs to the room she's about to walk into. You can feel it. And that feeling? It's not paranoia. It's reality. You ever notice how she's different after those nights? Not just tired. Not just hungover. Different. Colder. Shorter with her words. Less affectionate. She doesn't lean into you the same. Doesn't laugh at your jokes like she did before. And when you try to talk, her mind feels elsewhere. Because it is. She's replaying moments from the night before. That guy who stared just a little too long. The one who made her feel something she hasn't felt in a while. Like she still has power. Like she could start over if she wanted. And now, she looks at you differently. Not because she stopped loving you, but because for a few hours, she remembered what it feels like to be wanted in a new way. You see, that's what most men don't get. Girls' nights aren't always about cheating. Sometimes they're about comparison. About stepping into another world. To see if the grass is really greener. And even if nothing happened, even if she never touched anyone, her heart walked into that room, looking to be reminded that she's still desirable, still dangerous. And that right there, that craving for outside attention, that hunger for more, it's the quiet threat most men never catch. Until it's too late. You start to realize it's not about trust. It's about truth. And the truth is, she's not just out to laugh with her girls. She's out to feel something. Something she's not getting from you lately. Not because you stopped loving her, but because she stopped feeling it. And girls' night gives her that feeling back. Even if it's temporary, even if it's shallow, it still feeds her. The problem is, the more she feeds that part of herself out there, the more starved she feels when she comes home. Because you can't compete with the fantasy, the thrill, the flirtation that doesn't require depth. And when she gets used to that, when attention from strangers starts to feel better than intimacy with her own man, that's when the shift begins. She starts comparing, starts noticing everything you're not doing. Not because you've changed, but because her expectations have. They've been rewired by nightlife, by compliments from men who don't know her flaws, by the emotional spark she doesn't feel with you anymore. And while she's smiling in those group selfies, while she's holding her girls close and pretending it's all innocent, inside, she's chasing something. Validation, power, escape. And if she starts needing that too often, you won't recognize her anymore. Not because she cheated, but because she evolved into someone who doesn't see you the same way she used to. She'll tell you not to worry, that you're overthinking, that it's just her girls, just a night out, just fun. But you know better, because deep down you feel the shift. The way she looks at you after. The way her attention fades a little more every time she comes home glowing from someone else's gaze. It's not always physical. Sometimes the betrayal is emotional. And that's harder to spot, harder to prove. But it hits deeper, because you can't fight what you can't see. You trusted her. You believed the words. But her actions? They spoke louder than any excuse ever could. So remember this. It's not about locking her down. It's about watching who she becomes. When you're not around, if girls' nights bring her joy, but also create distance between you, you're not crazy for feeling it. You're not insecure for noticing. You're just seeing the truth she doesn't want to say out loud. Because girls' night stopped being harmless. The moment it started feeding something she no longer gets from you. And if that continues long enough, she won't need to lie about where she's going. Because one day, she won't come back.